Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Canada Hoops. It's your boy Matty. Thank you for your continued support. Keep downloading and sharing us. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Our incredible guest today joining us represents Brampton, Ontario and Halifax, Nova Scotia. She is a former St. Edmund Campion Bear, Michigan State Spartan, and is a 2020 Olympian playing with the senior women's national team for Canada Basketball at the Tokyo Olympics. She had represented for Canada Basketball for over 10 years, has become a standout for the senior women's national team. Make some noise for Shay Colley. Shay, thank you so much for joining us on
Thank,
Canada Hoops.
thank you for having me, Maddie. Thank you.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to it, and honestly, big fan of your game.
Thank you.
I,
Thank you.
yeah, I love how you get after it on the court. I just think, yeah, you play with a ton of effort, so that's always great to see. Just how are things? Let our listeners know how you're doing.
Mhm.
Your fans, they want to know, how you're doing and what you've been up to right now.
I'm doing pretty well. I just finished a season in France, Division One. We lost to the champions, Lyon. They have a very, very great team. It's basically Team France, but
Right.
so finished that in May, and then came home for a little bit, and then got straight to it with Canada basketball. And we had a first phase in Edmonton. This is our second phase. Then we're getting ready for AmeriCup, which is the start of qualifications for the Olympics next year in France.
Yeah, I was hoping we could kind of get into camp.
Mhm,
Just give us your thoughts on that. I know it's been a big effort already from you and the
mhm,
rest of the women. I enjoyed seeing that Victor and everybody involved has brought in some of the younger players
mhm, mhm,
to
mhm.
give them that experience. Just kind of maybe touch on some of the highlights of camp so far, and maybe if you're trying to be that veteran role, I would imagine.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like you said, what you first said with the vets. I mean, sorry, with the young ones, we have I think four of them that are in high school come in, and it's been amazing just to see their growth from first camp until now, on and off the court. So they're picking things up pretty quickly, and they're vocal, and they're just doing everything that we need them to do, and just playing senior women's level basketball, and it's amazing. And then being a vet, it's kind of different. When I first started, looking up to like Kim, Shona, Liz Ann Murphy, to now being like one of the vets who the younger people players look up to. So it's definitely an honor to be in this position. But just like them, I'm learning as well. Every day, all day. We learn together. I help them, they help me, and it's just about you know, developing each other on the court, and then becoming the best team we can be when it's time to compete.
Yeah. How much? Like, I guess my question is, do you get a chance to reflect on that much? Like, I know camp is busy, but
Hmm.
you've been with Canada basketball, for over 10 years at different age levels. Do you get a chance to kind of sit back and look at like, wow, I'm at camp now. I'm definitely a vet. You got a young Toby Fournier there,
Yeah,
Silas
yeah,
Swords, incredible young players committing to big schools. Um, how much time do you get to look at that and say, okay, I gotta make a difference for these next wave of players coming through the program?
right, right. I would say every day, like you just gotta remind myself, and I say ourselves because we still have Kayla Alexander and Naira Fields who
Right.
are also here in camp. So, just trying to make it better for them, trying to make it comfortable for them because we know like once our time's up, they're going to be the vets on the team pretty soon. So, like I said, just having that communication, leading by example on and off the court, and doing whatever we can basically just to, make them feel comfortable in being a part of the team, but also being a leader once it's their time.
Yeah, it looks like a well-run camp, obviously, and how things are going. And from what I've heard from other players and other friends of ours of the podcast that are there,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, I know you guys leave for Friday for
Hmm.
Mexico, and then first game against the host Mexico on July 2nd. Are you guys pretty locked into that matchup right now, or what's kind of the practices like?
The practice right now are just really focusing on us. you
Yeah.
know, we haven't really had that much time to spend with each other. So just focusing on us, making sure we get our sets right, our reads right, um, you know, just different defenses we're working on, different plays. So right now we're focusing on us, but you know, closer to the game, we'll focus on Mexico, and I think we'll be ready for that.
Yeah, no doubt. I know that's the emphasis from Victor, and what we saw at the World Cup, especially last year, was a defensive side. I thought,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know, you and Naira in particular in the backcourt really brought it, and the Canada basketball fans and the community were loving that. Shay, I was hoping we could run it back. You know, tell us about a young you running around Halifax and Brampton. You know, what was life like, and how the game came into focus for you and started to take shape for you.
Yeah, for sure. So I like was born in like Halifax, but grew up just outside of Cole Harbor. It's called East Preston.
Yeah,
It's it's not the city. It's more so like the country, the rural area. So you know, grew up, you know, not cutting wood, but like piling wood and gardening and like cutting grass, riding the lawnmower and stuff like that. So I really felt like that helped my work ethic, you know, from
for
a
sure.
very young age. Yeah, yeah, from a very young age. And then just basketball was something that was popular in the community. You know, everyone played basketball. I'm not sure if you know Justine Colley.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so she's
Yeah.
my older cousin.
Okay.
So, you know, Justine was playing on Team Canada, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. So I was like trying to be like her in a way. And then, you know, my family decided it was a better fit or opportunity for me to move to Toronto to, you know, develop my basketball skills. And obviously it paid off, and I was able to grow and as a basketball player in person, but also, you know, play for Team Ontario, and then play for U16, the cadet Canadian team. So that's pretty much like how it all started. So thanks Nova Scotia, and also thanks to Brampton.
Yeah, well, I mean, many people know the basketball history and hoop culture in Nova Scotia goes back
Yeah.
decades. It's an amazing community that way for the game.
Hmm.
Um, so, you know, I always like talking to people from that area about, you
Hmm.
know, growing up around the game. You mentioned Justine,
Hmm.
looking up to her and her game. Was there any other players that, you know, as you're working on your game that you looked up to and modeled your game after on the court?
Um, no, just Justine, but my dad. But you know,
Yeah,
we always go at it one on one. But other than that, no, it was just Justine because she was close. Like from my grandfather's house, her father and my grandfather are brothers, so she lived like literally across the street, and I would go over there and shoot on her basketball hoop and like just, you
right.
know, get shots up with her and stuff like that. So it was just Justine growing up when I was in Nova Scotia.
Nice. You know, what about when you get to Brampton? You know, obviously so much more
Mm.
competition,
Hmm.
exposure, and games to play in. Just talk about how that started to look for you when you enter high school. Just
Right.
kind of take me through that because I know high school was successful for you.
Yeah.
I know you did a lot of time with the provincial teams of success there. So just start talking about you know, the Brampton era.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it was very different, you know, coming from a small town to like, and that to me, like at that age, Brampton was a big city.
For
So, you know,
sure.
that was like, like a shock in itself. But once again, I would say the physicality, players, the population. So there's a bigger population, so there's a lot more players, a lot more female players playing. I played with guys and girls, so yeah, it was hard at first the transition, but like once I got, you know, comfortable and confident, I felt that, you know, I could play with people in Toronto. And not only that, but I knew that I was better than some or most of the people I was playing with. And then it was just keep that confidence. Like confidence was key, you know. So for me growing up, and I was lucky or fortunate enough to play with Brampton Warriors.
Okay.
It's like a red team. Yeah.
Yeah.
A great coach, Hugh Riley. You still have a connection with him to this day. You know, he pushed me, and then from there I went on to high school. I played at St. Edmund Campion. We were fortunate to win ROPSA, like the city championship, every year since I've been there, and then we won the provincial championship OFSA once my last year. So, you know, just playing against I would say great talent day in and day out really developed me as a player because you're not only playing against them in rep, you're also playing against them in high school, and then you're teaming up with them on the rep team to play against it. Yeah, it was just because we played against Keeners, played against Bridget,
Right.
played against like Dakota White, played against like a lot of great athletes come out of Ontario, female athletes come out of basketball players come out of Ontario. So just like playing with them, playing against them, it's really helped me develop as a player.
Yeah, if if a young player is listening to this episode, that's obviously a time in your life where you're dedicated, you're committed, you're
Hmm.
putting in the work, you're seeing what
Yeah,
it takes
for sure.
to play at a high level and
Hmm.
have success. What would you say to that young player listening, and what it takes, and you know just talk about that commitment.
Yeah, I mean, it was, yeah, it wasn't easy at all. You always have doubt. And then I would say, just keep confident, know that your work is going to pay off. Don't worry about who's watching. Don't worry about posting a workout and putting it on social media for likes. Don't worry about that. The work that you do in the dark when no one is watching will pay off. And, you know, um, just keep grinding. Take care of your bodies because if you just go, 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 your body is going to shut down. So, like getting rest, eating right, sleeping is just as important as working out. And obviously, make sure you have a balance. You don't want to work out or grind too hard and not like relax and stuff. So just make sure you have a balance, but keep confident. Reach out if you need to. It's not always easy. So make sure you also have a good support system or circle around you, and it will definitely help and pay off.
Yeah, wise words. I wanted to ask about your provincial team's time. I know you had a lot of success, and
Mhm.
Ontario always has strong teams. You won
Yeah.
gold at the Canada Games.
Hmm.
Uh, national championship, first team All Star. How much you're having success in high school, but at the provincial team level too, and playing with the best players in the province. How much did that really help your game and give you confidence?
Right. Oh yeah, it helped my game a lot and gave me so much confidence because I believe I don't even know how old I was when I first made Team Ontario. I was pretty young. I was probably in grade 6 or 7. So what is that, like 13,
Thir-
14 years old?
13, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So just to know, like, you're playing, like you said, playing with the top female basketball players in Ontario, like, yeah, each practice was a grind. Each practice was a grind. And, being one of the young ones at the time, playing with, I would say, like Dakota White, Becky Nash, Shaysha Grant Allen, like great players, it just reassures you that like you can do it, like you made the team. Now you just have to keep continuing to put the work in and lean on players and coaches if you need be. And I remember there was this one time we had a training camp, University of Toronto. It was in the field house, and Janine Day and Ali Green were our coaches at the time. And we had this like conditioning workout early in the morning, and we had to run the track in a certain time. So I think we had to do like 2 laps. I would just like say 5 minutes, and I was not going to make it. But thank God I had Dakota there. She literally pushed me through the sideline, and I'll never forget that. Like you have players that have your back, and I think her helping me during that time where I knew I was not going to make it. Like I had nothing else left to give. Like I was crawling past the line to finish, but it just like builds me as a person and player because like Dakota was able to do that for me, so I'm like obviously gonna do that for the players coming up, like just help them get that lending hand. And then going at it in practice, it wasn't always easy. Being the young one, everyone
right.
doesn't want to like lose to a young one or look bad in front of a young one, but they definitely push me hard. My coaches too pushed me hard, expected the best out of me every day in practice, and then definitely paid off in the games. As you said, we won, we won, and
Yeah.
so I'm very grateful for them. Yeah.
So at that time too, you're starting to come into the Canada basketball program.
Hmm.
Um, just talk about that again. At that age group, getting to play with the best players in the country.
Hmm.
That starts a 10-year period where
Yeah.
now, like we talked about, you're a veteran with the senior women's national
Hmm.
team. So just talk about getting that opportunity to like start wearing the red and white for Canada basketball.
Yeah, first made the cadet team. We were going to Amsterdam. Carly Clark was our coach at the time, I remember. And we had cuts were made for the final team up in Barrie because we had a training camp there. And Elaine's son, the manager at the time, came and she's like, "You're selected as one of the 12 to represent Canada U16 Cadette Team." I was like, "What?"
Sick.
You know, because you're in trials, you're going against the best, like you said, the best players in Canada. It's not just Ontario anymore; it's Canada. So you're like,
Yeah.
think you're doing good, and there's someone from Manitoba who's doing better. So you have a little bit of I say I had a little bit of like uneasiness, not knowing if I was gonna make it the team or not gonna make the team, but I did, and it was just I was relieved that I did and thankful. But yeah, playing with or alongside some of the best athletes in Canada would be something you remember and cherish for the rest of your life. I mean, Emma Wolfram from BC.
Yeah, I know the name. Yeah.
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 She was our big at the time, and
Right.
I know Quinn Dornstarter, she was on the team. She's from Saskatchewan, so, like,
Right.
we still have relationships to this day, and that's, like, from U16, and we're probably all, like, what, 27, 28 now, so
Cool.
definitely it's like a sisterhood, and, you just soak in the moment when you're in it, and then you look back and you're very thankful, and I'm very thankful that I made the team and got to play along some great, great talent and players.
Yeah, I love it. As your high school years are winding down, Shay, obviously recruiting's happening and
Mhm.
big decisions to make. It's always a time for players,
Mhm.
that can be stressful. They got to weigh all their options. Just take me through that. What schools you were considering, who had offered you, and why you made the choice you did.
I remember my first offer was from Syracuse.
Nice.
I really, yeah, I really was an Orange fan growing up. Carmelo Anthony, he was the
Hmm.
guy. But just that whole process was. I remember one I remember because there's like so many schools. You're getting letters like, you're in high school and there's letters are coming and phone calls and this and that. So it was pretty cool. But I just took the time with my family, sat down, spoke with them, and figured out what was best for me. Obviously, they supported me in my decision, but what I was looking for was a school that had great academics, close to home, and at that time, I knew what I wanted to major in was education. So a school that had a very good teacher education program. So when it came down to that, just honestly talking to family, figuring out what's best for you, and making the right decision.
So did you have like when you narrowed it down, did you have like a top four or top five that you were considering? Like which schools kind of made the cut for Shay?
Um, Honestly, I can't remember the top 5.
No, that's cool. That's
I
cool.
cannot remember the top 5, but obviously, it was, like, Syracuse, Michigan State, South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, the other 2, I don't remember, I'm sorry. All of
Yeah.
them were on the East Coast, though, there's none on the West Coast. Although
Right.
I did get offers from the West Coast, but I think UCLA was, like, too far from home for me,
Right.
like, Gonzaga or Oregon. Yeah, it was pretty far.
Right. Right. And so you started at South Carolina, correct?
Mhm. So,
So
South
you
Carolina.
just that just like what made that the choice right off the hop for you?
It was the coach, Don Staley.
Yeah.
Before making that decision, we had a tournament in Colorado Springs. It was U18, and Don showed interest. He saw me play because she was coaching against us. Rich Chambers was, I think, the coach at the time, and offered me. I went down there on a visit, and South Carolina just felt like the place for me. So I went on a visit with my mother, and my teammates there at the time was like Asia Wilson, Tiffany Mitchell, Atlanta Codes, um, Khadijah Sessions. Like it was a great, great, great group, and I felt that was the right school for me at the time.
Right. And then
Yeah.
obviously you end up at Michigan State.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Just can you let me in on that decision, why that happened?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, so as time went on, a family member of mine became sick, and then I thought it was the best decision for me to move closer to home, somewhere where I can drive to and from school to home. I mean, Michigan State was probably what 3.5 hours,
Right.
give or take. And yeah, that was a personal decision of mine. And you know, yeah, ended up at Michigan State, and they actually have a great teacher education program as well. So I think at that time I made the right decision.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you had great, a great career there, and I know you're regarded as an all-time Spartan there. Do you know Kalisha Keen? We had her on the podcast too. So
Yeah, I do know Kalisha King.
yeah, she was kind of
Yeah,
obviously before you, but
yeah, yeah.
what are your best memories playing at Michigan State on and off the floor? Just take me through that time.
On the floor would have to be the rivalry games against Michigan, home
Yeah,
and away. Like even for girls basketball, it's just the atmosphere, the crowd. Everyone gets behind their home team, and it's a rivalry for sure. So that was best on court, and then off court would also have to be the football rivalry
yeah,
games.
yeah,
It's different. It's a different atmosphere down there, and something I wish like everyone could experience. But yeah, like the Michigan and Michigan State rivalry football games is one that you have to experience if you can.
yeah.
If
I
you can.
mean, like as far as NCAA football, that's cream of the crop in terms of the
Yeah,
rivalry.
exactly. Yeah,
Pretty
exactly.
pretty intense. And what about the NCAA tournament for you? I know
Hmm.
other guests I've talked to, getting the opportunity to play in that is a special time. You
Hmm.
got to
Hmm.
win, you can't lose. You got to win to stay in. So,
Yeah.
what's that experience like and the energy with that?
Oh yeah, that was a buzz. Just getting into the NCAA tournament was a goal of ours, and we did it. We won our first game one year, and that was a pretty cool game for me because I hit the final shot at the end or the layup, whatever. But
Right,
yeah, the buzz is amazing. I think we were at Notre Dame for the first round. Yeah, yeah, at Notre Dame, and like the stands, the arenas were packed, and it's not even from like your school; it's just people wanting to watch women's NCAA basketball. So it was amazing feeling playing in the NCAA tournament the first game, and then obviously we lost to Notre Dame the second round.
right,
They were stacked that year, so I think they won that year. We lost to them, but yeah,
right.
the atmosphere and the experience of like playing in the NCAA tournament is something I think all players will remember if they get to experience that.
And still at this time, obviously, summers are full with Canada basketball. I know
Hmm.
you were on the 2017 AmeriCup team that won gold.
Yep.
I would imagine, every time
Hmm.
at that point in your career, you're playing Div 1 basketball, but summers with the national team, how much did that just really give you more and more confidence and
Hmm.
expand your ability to just, grow your game? Just talk about that time.
Yeah, so when I'm here at Canada Basketball, it definitely helps me grow my game because I would say the style of play is different,
Right,
so it's very fast, very quick, very I want to say savvy in terms of how you have to read the defense or you have to read the second defender and always be ready to make adjustments on the fly too as well. So, just being here, Victor, I don't know if you know Victor, he's our new.
oh yeah, for sure. I'm pretty
Yeah,
locked
yeah,
in on
he's our
yeah.
he's our new head coach, so his style of play definitely from the last year we've had him and up until this year, it's defense first, but always like fast, slow, read the defense, change
Right,
of pace. So it helps me as a point guard, to play at the very top level. And of course, he has coached so many teams before, and coaching with Spain and coaching in Turkey, so he has experience and knowledge, and he's just passing it on to us, which we're very thankful for. And I think that he definitely plays a huge part in my development as a player and point guard.
nice. What about when you start your pro career? You leave Michigan State.
Hmm.
You're starting, that next leg of your career. What leagues were you looking at, and just start taking me through that. And
Yeah,
um,
so after like when I graduated, it was actually the start of COVID, so I didn't get to play that year. But leading in, I found an agent that best fits me and my needs, and then he got me to a France team, and France has one of the best leagues with Russia now not having that strong of a league, and I would say the transition from NCAA to pro basketball was easy for me because I played Team Canada. So I'm used to the 24-second shot clock. I'm used to the reset, like an offensive rebound, 14 seconds. I'm used to the ball and just like the physicality of the game, the international game, opposed to
Right.
the NCAA. So my transition wasn't as hard as I thought it would be, just because I had that international experience for how many summers now, and then yeah, I would say the only thing that was hard for me was being away from family for so long.
Right.
Yeah, and then you have like a lot of downtime, so finding what to do with myself other than watch Netflix and sleep. So, but no, I mean the transition on the court, it was pretty good. I'm used to the physicality, so
Did you
yeah.
did you have stops in Hungary and Israel too? Like, have you played?
I did. So I was at France, went to Hungary,
Right.
went to Israel, also went to Germany.
Okay.
Now I'm back in France.
So do you have a like a favorite stop so far overseas? Like, I know France is a top tier league, but
Yeah,
any
yeah,
other
yeah.
stops stand out?
Favorite would have to be Hungary because the
Okay.
city that I was in, Gur, it was a pretty vibrant city. People were very friendly, very nice. There was a lot to do in the city, and so I got out. Even though I had downtime, I was able to get out. Check out the mall, check out these like scenery places, go on walks and stuff like that. So I really like Germany, but hopefully, I get to play in Spain, which is one of my goals,
Right.
or Italy. I really like Italy.
Any wild stories from playing over there so far? I know some of the fans get a little intense. Anything stand out that way maybe?
Wild stories? No, nothing for me. I know other people have wild stories, but I don't. No, I don't have any wild stories.
What makes France so good? Like, I know we've had a lot of Canadian women play in France, and
Hmm,
it's been a
hmm,
majority of their
hmm,
career there.
hmm.
What makes the league in France so good from a player's perspective?
I would say, well, personally for me, that each game you don't know, like each game is going to be a very good game. Like sometimes the number one team can lose to the seventh place team, or the number eight team can beat the third place team. So it's just you're getting great games every night, and it's not like, oh, this is going to be a blowout or that's going to be a blowout. It's high level basketball, and the intensity's there. There's a great crowd and atmosphere, like wherever you go, which I personally like to see, like people come out and support women's basketball. So like even if I'm going into an away game, I know the fans are they're going to come and rally behind their team. And playing away is great, but also playing home too. Like we have a very, very great fan base back in the team I play at in France.
So are you heading back this fall as well?
Yeah, yeah, going back to the same team in fall.
Nice.
Thank you.
Shay, here on Canada Hoops, we obviously love to talk Canada basketball, especially with guests who have played for the program and which, of course, you have done for over a decade now.
Mhm.
Um, for you personally, what does, every time you put the jersey on, what does that mean to you playing for Canada? And just, where does it rank for you in your career so far?
Oh, it's number one in my career.
Nice.
you
Nice.
know, um, it's pride and honor every time every time I put the Canadian jersey on, because I kind of look at it like, or feel like, yeah, we're not like a part of the army and going to war for our country, but in a sense we are, because we're putting on that jersey and we're going to war on the basketball court for our country.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's like pride and honor, and you just like bleed, sweat, tears, red and white. And it's a blessing because not everyone gets to do it. There are people who get cut, unfortunately. So being a part of the 12, or still to this day for 10 years being, starting from U16 all the way to the senior woman, and just continue to represent Canada the best I can, or the best we can, it's a feeling that you cherish for a lifetime, and you relish, and you just like soak up all the moments. Like each and every time you get to put the jersey on, even if it's just like a scrimmage or exhibition, or if it's competition, you just always gotta think about the folks back home in Canada and like represent it to the best of your ability, and which is like pride, honor, and passion and love. And it's a great feeling.
Yeah, I mean, and like when I've had other guests on, and most of them have played for the program, like that's been a sentiment, obviously. And I've always said, like, you should be obviously very proud not only to wear the red and white, but also just for yourself personally. You put the work in, and
Yeah,
it is a select group, like you said.
right.
Not everybody gets to do it, right? So
Mhm,
there should be a lot of pride in with that because you've put the work in, you've earned it. Um,
mhm.
you got your um, the country on the front, but you got your family's name on the back too, and
Right, right,
that
right.
counts for something too because those people help you get there too, right? So I always love that perspective. You've been a part of some great senior women's teams,
Mhm,
at the Olympics, at the World Cup, FIBA America.
mhm.
Any team in particular that might stand out for you so far?
Oh, it would have to be at the World Cup last year. I mean,
Right,
we had a great group, and no one was expecting us to get out of our pool. You know what I
right,
mean? Victor coming in, and we only had Victor what for a month, a few months, and
right,
then to do what we did at the World Cup. I mean, fourth. Came a little bit short from a medal or being on the podium, but it just speaks to us as the like we said the select 12 and like Victor and the coaching staff, so the like the team that we travel with as a whole, and it's just just very like buying into what Victor is teaching us, and but also like being there for each other, like playing for the person to the right, to the left of us, and just like playing like you said, playing for Canada. So definitely last year would have to be the team for me.
Ye- yeah. I mean, you know, obviously people know like I kind of nerd out on the national team stuff, right? But I mean,
Hmm.
I was one of many that was locked in on the tournament and
Hmm.
watching every game and supporting you all. And I just thought, Victor in that short time from a head
Yeah.
coaching position put his stamp on the team with the defensive effort. And I
Hmm.
mean, you guys dominated on that end and um, tough final game against Australia. But
Hmm. Hmm.
I know everybody was proud back home and. That team for me also, just as a fan supporter with the podcast, stands out for the senior women's team in a long time, right? Because
Yeah.
um, tough tournament, and people stepped up big time and started to put their names on the radar with the program.
Hmm.
So incredible team, like you said. And I mentioned it before. I loved you and Naira in the backcourt together. I mean, just got after it, and so fun to watch. I'm wondering, do you have a closest national team teammate, somebody that you played with over the years,
Yeah,
or
I have two. I have two. It would be Naira and Kayla.
nice,
Yeah.
nice. Shout out, Kayla, our friend
Shout out
Kayla.
to Naira and Kayla. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to ask you just, why has the senior women's team always had such a great buy-in from the players? Like it always feels like the players will do whatever it takes,
Hmm.
make the
Hmm.
necessary and tough sacrifices to play for Canada. Um, just put the best possible roster out there. Like, what's the discussion amongst you all with that approach to just you know do whatever it takes to play?
Um, first off, it's like it's an honor. It's an honor to be here to put
Right.
on Canada, to represent Canada, but it's also like it's earned, not given. Like not everyone gets to be here and do this. So we also like emphasize that a lot. And Natalie Ochoa, she's big on that. Like it's earned, not given, and it's an honor. And then, she praises that, and I get and it's like it's so ingrained that we like it's passed down from generation to generation. Like it's an honor. You got to put in the work. It's earned, not given. Not everyone gets to represent Canada at the highest stage, at the highest level. So the fact that you're here, keep doing it. Um, with pride, and just keep like coming and being committed, because this is a family. Like once you're in from U16, it's a family. Like if you make it or not, you're still a part of the Canadian woman like program family. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and I think that's what it is. Like you build relationships over time, and you just like want to keep coming back and back because it's a tight knit family. And It's hard to it's hard to like explain because you have to be in it to know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's definitely a family from like the senior women down to the cadets.
Yeah, I mean, great perspective. Yeah, you can see that, right? Like you can
Yeah,
see
yeah,
um, that buy-in in that sense, and the mentorship,
right.
and what it means. And I think obviously more so with the women than the
Hmm.
men. So I want to
Yeah,
shout out everyone that's sacrificed on the women's side to play and compete,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it doesn't go unnoticed at all.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Thank
Shay, do you have a top five or
you. Yeah.
favorite five of all time for Canada basketball?
Can I include myself in this or no?
Yeah, I want you to.
All right. So myself.
Not enough people do that. I'm like, hey, throw yourself in a five, man.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. I got
Okay,
it.
I
So
love it. I
myself,
love it. Yeah,
I would have to say Tammy Sutton Brown.
nice.
I would have to say Naya Rincock Ogunwe. She's from
Yeah,
BC.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Put a lot of time in.
yeah, yeah. Obviously, Kim Gaucher or Kim Smith,
Yeah,
and then the last one, I'm gonna have to say Alicia Tatum.
nice, nice,
Yeah,
nice. That's a unique five. And shout out to
yeah.
no, and Tammy just got announced. I'm not sure if you saw.
No.
She just got announced as an inductee for
Oh, really?
the Canadian Basketball Hall of Fame.
Congrats.
Uh,
All right, no, I'll take out myself. I'll put in Sylvia Sweeney. Take out
nice.
myself.
Okay.
Okay.
Props. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Sylvia Sweeney.
Yeah. It's hard, right? Like when I ask guests
Yeah,
that, um, you could do a some people started doing a top five and then like a favorite five, or
yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's been so many great players over the years.
Right, right.
It's a hard question. Shay, any shout outs or thank yous before I get you out of here?
No, man, I just want to say thank you to you, honestly, for having me on here. A part of the Canada Hoops podcast. I hope people tune in and listen because what you're doing is amazing. Shining light on national team or women's national team athletes, and thank you for always supporting us, and it means a lot. It means a lot to us, and heading down to Mexico, so hopefully we can make you proud of, alongside the rest of Canada and come up with the gold. But I'm sure we'll stay connected throughout the journey, to the Olympics. And hopefully another podcast will be coming soon.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I appreciate that, and I feel like from my side, like it's an easy thing to do. Like
Yeah.
I've really just been loving the program for so long, and
Mhm.
women and men's side, and also I appreciate that, and yeah, we want to have more of the women join us, so I'm gonna have to lean
Mhm.
on you to get me connected with a few
For sure.
people
For
and
sure.
players, and yeah, we appreciate you taking the time, to join us on Canada Hoops, and all the best to you, Shay, and
Thank you so much,
looking
man.
forward to seeing you. Looking forward to
Mhm.
seeing you represent, and obviously, good luck in the AmeriCup and beyond. And can't wait to see you keep playing for the red and white.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. That's it for another episode of Canada Hoops. I want to thank the senior women's national team standout Shay Colley for pulling up. Thank you for listening. Please continue to download, rate, and review us wherever you get your podcasts. Hit us up on Twitter and Instagram. Keep supporting Canada basketball and our Canadian Hoopers, and we will see you on the next episode.